Hi, I'm Emily of British Girl Bakes, and I'm going to show you how to make this pretty gold unicorn cake with a flower main. I'm starting with my vanilla cake batter and adding pink nonpareil sprinkles for some colour. My recipe for this cake is on britishgirlbakes.com, and I've put the link in the description below this video. I'm swirling the sprinkles into the cake batter with the end of my spatula, and then baking the cakes as normal, levelling and dividing them, and then assembling my cake with pink buttercream filling between each layer of cake. I'm giving the cake a crumb coat of more pink buttercream, and this is my 4-minute buttercream, and I have a tutorial on how to make it and check the consistency, and I've put the link for that tutorial in the top of the screen and in the video description. After letting the crumb coat set for about 30 minutes in the fridge, I'm applying my final coat of frosting, starting with the top, and then to give the sides a watercolour effect, I'm spreading on dollops of this pale pink buttercream with my offset spatula, and then adding some dollops of a brighter pink, and I've tinted both of these using gel food colours. Now I'm adding white to almost completely cover the cake, and then I'm using my frosting smoother to go around the cake a few times to smooth it out and blend the colours together. I have a detailed module on how to do this in my free online course on 10 frosting techniques, and I've put the link in the top of the screen to sign up and in the video description. This frosting needs to set before the next step, so I'm putting it in the fridge for at least an hour. For the unicorn decorations you'll need some fondant, a rolling pin, a pizza cutter or a sharp knife, and a round cookie cutter. I've made my fondant with the recipe in my tutorial, which you can watch by clicking the link in the screen or in the video description. And I've kneaded it with a big pinch of Tylose powder so that it hardens quickly, in a few hours. I'm rolling it out thinly and then cutting a triangle for the horn, using the cookie cutter to indent curves all the way up the horn, to give it that twisted look. If you're enjoying this tutorial, please click the thumbs up button, and subscribe to my channel for a new cake decorating tutorial every week. I've made another horn slightly smaller because I haven't decided quite how big my unicorn will be yet. Next, I'm rolling out a small piece of fondant for an ear, cutting a triangle out, which will be the inside of the ear, and then placing this onto the bigger piece of fondant to trace around it, making this next triangle a bit bigger, but using the inner triangle as a guide for the shape. I'll attach these together later. So these are my fondant pieces, and I've sketched a unicorn profile, which looks a bit strange because it doesn't have a mane yet. And I've measured my cake and made this unicorn a little bit shorter than the height of my cake, which will leave room to attach the base of the horn and the ear. I'm using the sketch to check the size of the ear and the horn, and I'm choosing the smaller horn and trimming it slightly so that it sits at the right angle on the unicorn's head, and I'm trimming the ear as well. This is gold luster dust, and I'm tipping a bit into an empty jar to make some edible gold paint. This is 190 proof alcohol, which evaporates really quickly and makes a strong coloured gold paint. You only need a few drops, so I'm pouring some into the cap, and then dripping that into the pot of gold, mixing it with a paintbrush, and then painting my horn, making sure I cover the sides as well as the front, and the outer part of the ear, and then I'm gently pressing the inner ear triangle onto the outer ear. And that's it for the fondant decorations. These will take a few hours to dry and harden. The frosting on my cake has set, so now I can decorate it without damaging it. I've cut out my unicorn head, and I'm pressing it onto the cake and then tracing around it very gently with a toothpick to leave an outline behind when I peel it off. I'm filling in the outline with my gold paint, and I'll do a few coats of this to get a nice thick, shiny, metallic gold, putting it back in the fridge between each coat so that the frosting stays firm and so that the paint has a chance to dry. This is what the gold looks like after 3 coats. And now I'm going to attach the horn and ear with a little bit of fresh buttercream, which is still sticky, so it acts as a glue to secure the fondant. I'm going to put my cake back in the fridge so that the buttercream acting as glue will set, but I don't want the fondant to sweat, so I'm putting the whole cake inside a cake box with a lid to seal it, and this prevents any moisture from the fridge getting onto the fondant. After about 30 minutes, I'm confident the fondant decorations will stay in place, so I'm taking the cake out of the fridge and out of the box, and piping on the main with pink buttercream, using a few different shades, and using flower nozzles or Russian tips for some of the flowers, and also a 1M tip to swirl on some simple roses. If you haven't used these flower nozzles before, they're fantastic once you get the hang of them, and I have a detailed tutorial on 5 tricks for Russian tips, and I've put the link in the top of the screen for that tutorial and in the description below. Huge apologies here. I accidentally filmed this section in slow motion, and although I figured out how to fix the speed so it's normal, the quality is really low. But this is one of my favourite cake designs and I couldn't not share it with you. So please forgive the grainy resolution. And that's it! A simple but stunning unicorn design. I'm going to put this back in the box in the fridge until transporting it, and after taking it out of the fridge, I'll leave the cake in the box for at least 30 minutes before lifting the lid, and that will prevent any condensation or sweat forming on the fondant. Thanks for watching! I share a new cake decorating tutorial on my channel every week, so click the red subscribe button to make sure you don't miss one.